Hello, everybody. This is our second episode of our podcast. It's going to be kind of a shorter episode today. We're going to talk about our experience at MidwestFurFest 2025. I know it's a little bit late, but I'm starting to get settled here at my new job and my new place, so it took a while for me to actually get a second episode of the podcast out, and eventually we will have some guests on the podcast as well to, of course, talk about the main topic of the podcast, which is everybody's careers. But just going to talk about our experience at MFF, some of our favorite things, some of the things we maybe didn't like about MFF. I feel like overall we had a pretty good experience, but I do have my co-host Alfie here, my partner, my boyfriend, and we'll both be giving our experience here. So to start out with, just want to say I had an overall very great experience at MidwestFurFest 2025. It was a very fun time. We had really great roommates and just got to see lots of wonderful friends that don't get to see all the time. And it was really nice getting to see them and talk to them and hang out with them for quite a while. I went to a couple panels. The panels were fun. The two that I went to that, well, I guess both Alpha and I went to them. We went to one about shells, and then we also went to the Hope panel towards the end of the con, and that was also a very nice panel, trying to help you get over your post-con depression that most people get after a convention. And I think I took some helpful tips away from that, and I really didn't walk away from the convention with too much post-con depression. And somehow I didn't walk away from the con with the con crud that everybody catches after a convention. But I really did have a great time. Overall, just really enjoyed the time spent with friends. There was lots of furry shenanigans going on all around the convention space. Opening ceremonies were really cool, and so were the closing ceremonies. But there was this one guy, I believe it was during the opening ceremonies, who was just using all sorts of cringe terminology to introduce the charity. But it was definitely staged to be that way, but it was just so bad. It was really bad. But overall, really great experience. We did go to the variety show as well. There was lots of cool acts to see there. Some dancing, singing, and other just random variety acts. Our friend actually performed there, and we also got to watch Little Alpha Pup, also known as Milo. We went to his performance the one day, and that was amazing. He did a really great job. Really happy for him. And he also did a really good job at the closing ceremonies during his performance there as well. I really did enjoy just about everything about the convention. I don't know if there's really any true aspect that I didn't enjoy about it. Maybe just the fact that there's so many people there. I'm not a huge person with big crowds, but at the same time, the crowds are fairly spread out. There were almost 17,000 people there this year, which is insane to think about. But sharing a space with 17,000 people, and I think I did a pretty good job with myself and my anxiety during the whole trip. Alfie, do you have anything to add on?
Not much. I really enjoyed hanging out with friends and such. Getting to Chicago was a bit of a hassle at first because when my plane landed, our plane got stuck in the snow on the runway for about an hour. And then once I got out, I got lost in the airport and I couldn't figure out how to get away from the airport for 2 hours. Probably the most busy airport I've ever been in my entire life. Once you get past the airport, it's fun, but I think my least favorite part about the whole trip was the airport. Other than that, it was all around good experience. Stayed with good people. That was fun. my most important part about a convention is hanging out with friends. So I don't really personally, I don't really, search up panels and try to go to certain panels like a lot of people do. What I actually do is I try to prioritize my time with people that I want to hang out with and be like, hey, what are you doing? Where are you going to go? So, because I just like showing up and vibing with people. And I'm pretty sure, sorry, I didn't mean to burp. Because I'm pretty sure wherever my friends are going, we're gonna be doing something fun at a furry convention, and we did. We had a lot of fun. I felt like this year MFF vibe was a little bit different. Well, not this year because now it's 2026, but I felt like the year in MFF in 2024. I felt like people's personal vibes, like interactions, were more like intimate reactions. Like what I mean by that is like more like one-on-one. Somebody says hi, they're actually saying hi. A lot of people are hugging and stuff. I think this year it kind of felt like everybody was like zooming by at 500 miles an hour. Didn't get as many personal reactions and not as many hugs, but I will tell you the hugs this year were better, so it evened out. I felt like I got better hugs this year. Being a furry, and getting hugged by a big fluffy fuzzball full of fursuiter is like an experience and a half. It's just wholesome and just warm and cuddly and please hug me and never let go vibe. Uh, but yeah, I pretty much really enjoyed my experience because most important part for me was hanging out with friends, and I got to hang out with my friends, so that meant the world to me.
Yeah, we definitely got to hang out with a lot of cool people. Got to meet some really cool people as well. We actually, through some connections, got to help somebody set up a bit of their booth in the dealer's den, which was a pretty cool experience. Got to see a little bit of behind the scenes on how the setup goes there. And we also met a really cool artist friend of ours, and he's really cool. I suppose I should give him a shout out, Dingaroo. Really cool artist, and I do like what he does as well. Unfortunately, I did not get a badge from him during this convention, but we went to the artist's dealer area a little bit late in the convention. We went on the last day, so that's kind of our fault. But that was a really cool experience going through and helping set up somebody in the dealer's den. We also, of course, went to the dealer's den after everything was set up, and we definitely bought some things while we were there. Alf bought me a couple things and had a really good time over there. I got a nice shirt, or actually a couple nice shirts. I got a sticker book. I can put all my stickers in it. I did not walk away with a fursuit, thanks to everybody persuading me not to get one right now. I really don't have the funds right now. But I did get a bunch of business cards for a lot of different fursuit makers, and I think I found one that's within my price range, and they actually do a pretty good job. Not really going to shout them out at the moment because I haven't made any commitments, and of course, we are not sponsored. But there really were a lot of cool artists and creators throughout the dealer's den and the artist den as well. There was some pretty good food at MFF as well. In the dealer's den area, there was a mac and cheese vendor, and oh my goodness, that was delicious. There was also I want to say like Asian or Oriental type dealer. It had like bulgogi and ramen and stuff. That was pretty good. And returning, I know this year was the Wild Bill's Soda Shack. I didn't end up getting any, but they were there again this year. The hotel had a really nice restaurant. I forget what it's called off the top of my head. I think it was the Red Bar. They have pretty good food and got a couple drinks there. There was an MFF themed drink. Do not remember what it's called offhand, but it was really good. Had that a couple times. And we had the breakfast buffet at the hotel, which was also really nice. Quite expensive, though, I will say. Red Bar, not terrible price-wise, but it is, of course, a convention, so you should expect some prices to be higher. Otherwise, there's plenty of food in the area as well if you don't want any of the convention food, which honestly can save you some money. We did shop at Target beforehand. One of the shuttle buses took you directly to Target and then back to the convention space, which that was really nice. Got to utilize the shuttle bus system a little bit this year, and I think that went pretty good. I think they were fairly well marked as far as which ones go where. And they stopped at the different hotels and things. We were lucky enough to get a room in the main convention hotel, although it wasn't our names that got drawn for it. We ended up sharing a room with someone else that got a room on the main convention space. I'm not going to give out their name or anything, but it was a really nice experience. They're a pretty good friend of ours now, I think I can say. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that Oh, the Nothing panel. The Nothing panel was amazing again this year. I didn't notice any like charity donations going on at it this year, and I thought that's kind of what it was about last year, but maybe that was just something that ended up happening because it's a Nothing panel, and it's chaotic Nothing. You never know what's going to happen there. So if you're going to your next furry convention and you see that there is a Nothing panel, I highly recommend you go to that because it is chaotic Nothing. That's about the best way I can describe it. Don't want to spoil too much about that. But our friend became the king of Nothing for a little bit, and that was fun. I almost broke my ankle in musical chairs. That was that was something.
I've never seen a most dangerous game like musical chairs. When you put a bunch of adults that act like goofballs
musical
in the same
chairs
room
was something.
And doing music.
Our friend almost won, but he did not, sadly.
My first thought was putting a bunch of adults that act like goofballs in a circle on musical chairs. My first thought was somebody's getting hurt. And of course, the first person to waddle out of there limping was the other person talking in here.
I did mention that we got to meet Dingaroo for a little bit, but we also met Sod-Eye. He hosts his own podcast. I'm not a Popufur. Unfortunately, I haven't listened to it. Sorry, Sod. We'll give it a listen. I'm sorry. Apologies in advance.
I wouldn't label anybody as a Popufur because I know a lot of people don't like that title. So, for all those out there, out of loving support, I'll say that I promise none of you are Popufurs because I know y'all don't like that title. But we did meet a lot of good people this year, and there's a lot of people on social media that people know.
I don't want to give away too many names because some of them might not want to be mentioned or might not need to be mentioned. But we did. We're pretty good friends with a couple people, and we got to hang out with them for a good amount of time this year. As far as bad things at the convention, I mean, do you have anything else good to add on to anything that I've already talked about or we've already talked about, Alfie?
So when staying in the room last night of the convention, I think it was about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning on like Monday morning, 2 a.m.
I don't know if we should tell that story or not.
No. You'll understand what I'm talking about when I say it. So
I promise you guys the fact that I don't want him to tell a story, it's not because it's bad. It's because I don't want to give away too much information.
It's confidential. No, it's confidentiality about stuff. Don't worry. It's nothing confidential. So 2 a.m. in the convention, The we're still up in our hotel room, and all of a sudden, so Sunday was the last night of the convention, and everybody's still up doing shenanigans in the lobby till like probably 5 a.m. And we went to bed around 2:30, I think. Um, 2 a.m. I could my timeline is way off probably, so I don't know the exact time it happened, but I want to say roughly about 2 a.m. in the morning, Monday mornings, about roughly 2 a.m. ish. I could be wrong. And feel free to leave in the comments if you know exactly what time it was, because that would have been really fun. But like about maybe 2 a.m. ish Chicago time. If you're staying on the main convention hotel space in the Davis Center, it circles around this big elevator thing, and all the
Do you mean the
levels
Hyatt?
have a balcony. Yeah, the Hyatt. Yes, that's what I meant. The circles around this elevator thing. Everybody in all the rooms and the convention center went out of their hotel room and along the balcony on every level, and the whole entire hotel on the Hyatt howled for like a good 2 minutes straight,
That was
as
fun.
loud as they could. And once we heard the howl, everybody in the hotel room ran out to the balcony as fast as they could and howled. And I just calmly walked to the hotel door and I howled from the hotel door, because after we were done, everybody's immediate thought was, oh no, who grabs the key for the hotel room? And I'm standing in the doorway laughing, going, don't worry, I had y'all. I howled from the door. Don't worry. And as you look around all the hallways, I think about 1/4 of everybody locked themselves out of the hotel room. So that poor hotel staff at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning have like a fourth of the hotel go to the front end for,
I
hey, we locked ourselves out of the hotel room. It was hilarious. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life, and I think the howl was amazing, and it was funny once everybody realized, oh, how many of us locked ourselves
I
out?
know about the hotel on the last day when everybody was leaving. I saw somebody leave their room with an air fryer. And I'm like 90% sure that that's against hotel rules, but you know what? I'm not going to tell on them. You gotta make food somehow. There were no microwaves in those rooms, just mini fridges. So you gotta make some food somehow and save some money.
well, well, they're adults, and we're not their babysitters. I think it's the
Nothing we
hotel's
can do about it.
responsibility. Hotel's responsibility to keep
Hey, you know
everybody
what didn't
in check.
happen? And I'm very glad it didn't happen. A fire drill. The fire alarms didn't go off.
You know, it would be a very warm experience because everybody, the like a third of everybody's in a fursuit. So all the cold people get in the middle, and all the fursuiters get on the outside to hug us. I think it would be okay.
um,
It would
so
be it would be teamwork. Just get hugs from all the fursuiters, and you'll be warm.
as far as bad experiences go, I don't know if I have anything like that pops into my head immediately as a bad experience per se. But there were a couple times during the convention where I kind of got anxiety. At the time, I didn't know when my next job was going to start. I was kind of jobless and a little hopeless, but I was cautiously optimistic, and I did end up getting that job, and I'm finally here for it, and I'm very excited for it. Um, but there were a couple times where I really wasn't doing the greatest, and Alf knows for sure. I just wasn't myself. I was kind of upset at him, and I really apologize, Alfie. I'm sorry about that. But we went to IHOP, and it made things a little bit better because I got to talk it out, and it it also seemed at that point that we really hadn't hung out with our friends as much as I had wanted to, and really thought we would. And I just kind of started breaking it down about it. And we did end up getting to spend good time with our friends. Actually, I think the next day I got to play Magic the Gathering with one of them, and that was awesome. Really would like to do that again sometime. And there's lots of fun stuff we ended up doing. We did help a friend out of a bit of a situation they were having as well. So we did some good things as well, and we got to hang out with them and really help out. I don't know if there's anything other particularly bad that sticks out in my mind. Other than Alfie just wants to stay with me the whole time, and he didn't have anything on his own that he wanted to do. And I'm like, Alf, if you want to go to a panel or something, let me know. I'll let you go, or I can go with you, or whatever. But he just wanted to stay by me the whole time.
My whole point of
I'm
going
not
to
mad
the
about
convention
that, but
hanging out with my friends and my boyfriend. It's been months since I've seen my boyfriend. So, my persona is a dog, and I'm going to follow my boyfriend around like a lost puppy, because I'm there to spend time, so I'm going to get lost glazing at him, as boyfriends do. I'm right there with you on the anxiety side because, I might be very, very social, but I also have anxiety in the back of my head. And I probably was a little grumpy that morning too. So I probably didn't help much. But my anxiety has stuff to do with my Tourette's. So like, you add anxiety with Tourette's, mix it in with anxiety with not knowing where your next job's going to be, and then just things intermixing, it's going to create a little bit of emotional chaos there for a moment. But when we sat down, had food, and we talked, we felt better afterwards, and then we weren't grumpy, and we weren't in like emotional distress. So I think we just needed a little bit of food, and we needed just the time to have a little personal time and unwind, because I think you get into a convention and all of a sudden you're thrown in a hotel room with a bunch of people, and I think it was like the first moment where we could have like a private second for just me and him. And I think it was just, I think it just helped a lot, because when, you get one-on-one with somebody you care about, it tends to get better, because, when you're with the person you love, everything seems to just fall in place.
anything else to add as far as maybe bad experiences or anything?
As far as I don't know as bad experiences, but on a more hilarious note, before I forget about it, I won't disclose where, but what's the hotel's name?
The Hyatt.
The Hyatt. I won't disclose where, but I know what room they hide all.
Oh, you're talking about the alcohol closet.
Yeah, we know
That's
where.
Not a bad thing.
We know where. We know where. I know it's not a bad thing, but I won't disclose where the alcohol closet is, because I personally don't drink, so don't worry, Hyatt, your secret's safe with me. But I know where I saw your staff in the closet like 6 times, and I know where the alcohol closet is. That being said, I don't drink. But I think it's hilarious that I'm just like, I know where it's at. I know where they hide all the alcohol. Don't worry, I don't drink. Don't worry, alcohol's safe. I don't drink. I won't tell people where it's at.
Some other things at the convention that were kind of fun was just getting to see all of the different fursuits and all the different art and everything that people do. There's a lot of creative fursuits out there, and I just love seeing all the designs and all the different makers and everything. Just want to talk about some of the people I got pictures with or got to meet. This one's probably the most controversial out of them all, but I did get a picture with Boof and his boyfriend, Some Dingo. Some Dingo was carrying around a giant tennis ball the whole convention. So
My
if
ball.
anybody saw
My
them,
ball.
they had a giant tennis ball with them, which was kind of interesting.
Can I make a note on that real quick?
Go ahead.
Can I make?
Is your note my ball? Is that your note?
No.
Ball?
Hold on. Well, hold on. To Dingo carrying the tennis ball, I just want to say, my ball. My ball. My
Ball?
ball. My ball. Ball. My ball. My
Anyway,
ball. My ball.
little alpha pup Milo. He's really awesome. By the way, y'all should go check him out. But got to hang out with him for a little bit. Saw his performances, and that was all really good. Going through all my pictures here, so forgive me if I skip someone. Otter Chaos, the video game music performance was really nice. I enjoyed that. We had to dip out a little bit early to get to the variety show on time, but the variety show was also really nice, and there were some really cool acts there, and our friend Demi actually got to perform there, and he did a really nice job. We did get to hang out with Demi for a little bit, which was nice. I loved the Venezuelan comedian. I believe he performed at opening ceremonies, but he also performed during the variety show. I hope he's doing all right, all things considered, because by the time we film this, things have happened with Venezuela, but I don't want to get into politics. I just hope he's doing all right. But there was a lot of cool acts during the variety show. There was some animation, music, and other various acts. Something from the dealer's den, just going through my photos here, there was a fursuit maker that had a partial for sale, and its name was Indy, and it was a cat. It's not my colors, but its name was Indy, and it was a cat, and I'm like, I want this so bad, but it's not my colors. It looked really nice. The Nothing panel was fun. Already talked about that for a little bit. I did get to wear one of my friend's fursuit head and paws, and that was kind of neat for a little bit. Although I think our other friend had a had a more fun time with that than I did. He really got animated in there, but he's about to get a full suit soon, so he'll be having some good times here shortly. I really enjoyed that experience, though. Kind of gave me a little heads up as to what fursuiting will be like if and or when I get a fursuit. But I think that'll be way later in the future. The theme was Villainous Vacation, and one of the mascots of the convention was Goose with a Knife. And I've got to say, I think Goose with a Knife is my new favorite thing.
That was funny.
I got to
Goose
see
with a
PB.
knife.
I got a picture with PB. He was outside of the dealer's den, like right as the dealer's den was closing. So that was pretty cool. Trying to think if there was anyone else that we met along the way that I want to name. Oh, Little Mia Fox. They post things I've seen on Twitter and TikTok. I don't know. I don't like calling people a popufur, but they're also, I think, fairly well known in the fandom. They're fun. They're nice.
I would avoid using the term popufur because
I know. I don't like calling anyone that.
So
It
maybe
doesn't-
I don't know. Maybe
it can have a
just
negative connotation, but
just a more popular.
is there anyone that you thought was pretty neat to meet or anything? Did you meet anybody that I didn't? I don't think so, but maybe you did.
No. I do have a comment on one of them that you met. So you know how Boof looks cute online? I just want to tell everybody that he looks 10 times cuter in person.
Yes, I know. I
So
know.
so
Boof
if
is
you
going to
hear
be a little bit
so so
controversial,
so
but
so if you're listening to this booth, I apologize, but you're a cutie. Yeah,
no, Boof seemed
yeah.
really nice actually when I got a
No,
picture with
Booth
him,
is
and of course,
really fun
his
dude.
whole
Yeah,
thing is that he liked fursuit hugs, and so I had to give him a hug, and I think that was nice. I
I
did get a
love
few
hugs.
fursuit hugs, and did enjoy that. Um,
Oh,
another good thing about the convention, hanging out with our friends. Alf and I actually watched K-pop Demon Hunters in our friend's hotel
ooh,
room with them, and that was pretty fun. And then, unfortunately, Alf was stuck in the airport, but a group of our friends, we all went to see Zootopia 2, and that was a good experience. Really great movie, by the way. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody that's watched it. But of course, there's a whole Lynx family in there, and I'm a bobcat, so I loved like how they animated the Lynxleys is their last name, their dynasty name. But yeah, that was a fun movie. Got to see that with a bunch of our friends. We also went to Denny's, although it wasn't at midnight this time, but we did go to Denny's with our friends, and that was another fun experience. We we went to one Denny's, the one that's closer to the convention center, and we
they
weren't
were
even
so busy.
acknowledged that we get when we got there.
They were
And we
too
waited a
busy, and
little
there's
bit,
one
and then
waitress.
we were like, "Yep, we're going to the other Denny's." And we went to the Denny's that we went to last year, and it was much better. So that
And
was
in
interesting.
in their defense, the whole entire restaurant of Denny's was packed, and there was
Also,
like maybe one or two tables open, and there was only one waitress for the entire restaurant.
yeah,
So, and I understand. Uh, I think our turning waypoint was when somebody put their dirty silverware in the
yeah,
silverware thing when they grabbed a clean set, and we're like, nah, we're out. But
and
but in
so
their defense, they were heckin' busy and they were
I
understaffed.
I drove to MFF. I drove a little over 8 hours to get to MFF and back home, and that was an experience. Chicago traffic sure is something. But as far as being in Chicago and around the convention center driving, it's really not that bad. It's more on the interstates in Chicago that it seemed pretty heavy. But I think I got away with free parking. I don't want to give away my secret or give away too much information, but I told them what room number we were in and everything, and theoretically it should have been charged to the room for whatever the price was. But at the end, when I was leaving, I tried to scan the ticket and it wasn't working. So I had to call the attendant, and the attendant was like, "Yeah, what's your name and everything?" And I gave her my name. I think I gave a phone number. And then they opened the gate, and I left. And as far as I'm aware, was not charged for parking because the person who the room was rented out to never said anything. There was a
I don't think.
contest
No,
also.
they did say that they didn't see an extra charge.
Yeah,
They looked for it and they didn't see an extra charge.
there
But
there
we
was a
also said if we
contest for those staying at the main hotel for the cleanest room, and those who had the cleanest room at the end of the convention would get 2 free nights. So that was a contest. But I think we kept our
we don't
hotel room pretty clean. Speaking of, I haven't heard that person got the charge back on their card. So
don't give away too much information. Uh, they might have been charged and just haven't said so yet. I wouldn't give
I
away
don't
too much
I
info.
don't think we
Uh,
won the clean room, but
yeah, no, definitely not.
it wasn't dirty though. We didn't leave the room dirty.
No, but we had food stacked all over the tables.
Oh, it was
um,
dirty during the convention, but we sure dang cleaned up before we left.
oh yeah, we cleaned up before we left. We made sure that the room was immaculate when we left, though.
Also, with driving to the convention, I think it was better than flying because I would have had to pay more, and then I wouldn't have had a vehicle if I needed to go anywhere. And thankfully, didn't really have to take friends all over the place this year. I feel so bad for our friend last year. They he was basically our taxi driver last year, and I feel so bad for him about that. And I think that definitely was not a great experience for him last year. Last year was a whole different ballgame than this year, and I think we did a better job this year with managing everything.
I want to. Can I mention hugs for a second?
Yeah, sure.
So last day of the convention, I was extremely emotional because it's the last day of the convention.
I
I,
think
I
we all
think
were.
I think I didn't want to go home. I had so much
I
fun,
didn't. No,
and
none of us
I
wanted to
was
go home.
I was just extremely emotional. And there was this fursuiter that looked at me. We're in the artist alley, and just looked at me and says, "Do you want a hug?" And I says, "I would love a hug." And they hugged me, and then I said, "Thank you, I really needed that." And they're like, "Well, then we're not done." And then they hugged me again. And then when they held me really close and started rocking us back and forth a little bit. And then they started petting me with their really soft paws, and then saying, "It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay." And I thought I was just going to start bawling. That was the most wholesome hug I've ever gotten in my entire life. And it was soft, and it was warm, and it was caring. I would say being petted by a full fursuiter while being hugged, as cringy as it sounds, it was very amazing, and um, it was wholesome, just very wholesome vibe, and it's probably one of the best hugs I've ever gotten. It's hard to top uh, a hug from a fursuiter.
Yeah, I
That's
I agree with
that's
that.
big and fluffy. It's hard to top a hug from a fursuiter, especially when they put love and compassion into their hug. I will
I
tell you, getting hugged by a furry in a full suit, the it, when they give you love and compassion, is just the most warm feeling. That being said, I don't want to make anybody feel um, like they're excluded, because you do not have to have a fursuit
No,
at a
not at
convention.
all.
I think
Neither of
I
us have a
think
fursuit currently, if that's telling you anything.
if
Um,
it helps, only about 1/3 of everybody at a convention
yeah,
has a fursuit. About
there's a
2/3 of
ton of
everybody do not.
non-suitors at the convention.
About two
Although
thirds of
two of our
everybody have a.
friends who are currently non-suitors, well, I guess one of them isn't a non-suitor anymore because he does have his suit now, are getting suits, and I'm so happy for them. But now I really want a suit because they have suits, and now I'm jealous.
Well, well, two 2/3 of everybody at a convention
To their
does
credit, I
not
will
have
say
a
the one
fursuit.
for sure I know has saved up a ton of money specifically for a fursuit. So they planned it
Oh yeah,
out. I don't know about the
yeah.
other one. I hope they're not in debt. They probably are.
But I just want to stress, you're not excluded if you don't have a fursuit. You're just as out of a furry. You you get interactions with just as many people. I had so many interactions with people that were not in suit, and I wasn't in suit, and I interacted with a lot of other furries that were non-suiting, um, that didn't have a fursuit. So you can still have a lot of fun. And yes, I did hug a lot of people that weren't suiting.
Yes,
It's just when you just
including me.
yes, very much. Just the level of a hug when a forestry shooter gives you a hug, and they put forth their emotional support into their hug. Please hug me.
I think
Please hug me.
I'm going to put in some closing thoughts now and maybe some advice for people who want to attend a convention who have never done so before. First off, make sure you get your registration tickets ahead of time. I know there's
Yes.
at least one furry convention right now that has put a cap on their attendance. I believe that's Anthrocon. I know that's somewhat controversial, but at the same time, think about it. You don't want, say, 20,000 furries showing up and not having the space for that many people. And I don't think, I mean, I personally haven't been to that convention or that convention center for that matter, but I have been to Pittsburgh. But imagine having too many people for one space. I think MFF overall is a really great space for the almost 17,000 people that were there this year, which is insane numbers. I believe it's just a tad bit more than last year. And it's insane numbers, that many people coming to one convention. And there were a lot of international visitors as well. But that space, I think, fits that many people very well. And there's several different hotels in the hotel block to help out with that. The convention space itself, very big. The convention center, lots and lots and lots of space there. Now, I will say on the first day of the Dealer's Den, it was very packed and crowded in there once the Dealer's Den opened. But that's to be expected. That was probably the most crowded spot I saw, other than the sky bridges sometimes got a little bit crowded, but those were fun. We had a good time in there. Again, not going to bring up politics, but there was somebody doing an impression of Donald Trump the entire way through the hallway.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. This is the best hallway
But
ever.
anyway,
no other hallway is better than this one.
To avoid politics,
that's the best fursuit I've ever seen in my entire life. I think I want to be a furry.
So
furries are cool now. Okay, sorry for we're not trying to mock anybody, but it's kind of funny. If you can't make fun of life and other things, then life is boring.
Some other tips I would have: if you want a room in the main hotel, make sure you are putting in for a room on the main hotel. Get your name into that room lottery. If you don't get it, it's not a huge deal. There are tons of other options. And this year, we actually were drawn for a different hotel that wasn't the main hotel. It would have had shuttle buses going to the convention center, and we would have been fine probably. But luckily enough, we had a friend who had a room at the main convention or main hotel space, and we were able to get in there. We tried to get one of the big, I forget, suite rooms that could host up to 7 people or something. But unfortunately, we didn't get drawn for that either. That would have been nice to have all of us in one room. But make sure you get your name in for those drawings. And if people back out, there's always the chance that you might end up with a room closer than you thought you would. But always have a backup plan. Always make sure you have some form of backup plan in case you don't win the room lottery. Make sure you've got either a room booked somewhere nearby or maybe an Airbnb, which is what we did in 2024. We had an Airbnb with too many people in it. Don't do that. Sorry. It was certainly an experience. Had some good times, but also some bad times there. But there were way too many people in that Airbnb.
I had a blast. The whole experience.
So if you're doing that, make sure you're making it reasonable. Don't get an Airbnb with 12 friends that really probably shouldn't fit in one Airbnb. Especially if you all haven't met each other before.
If I had to do it again, 100% would do it.
Oh, yeah, I'd do it again. Maybe not with that many people, but I would do it again. But yeah, there's plenty of options in that area, and you're not terribly far from Chicago itself, so if you found something a little bit further away, you could still get to the convention center probably fairly easily. But like I said, there's a shuttle system running between all the con space hotels to get to the convention center, and that'll help you out immensely. Parking, as far as if you're in the main hotel at MFF, the Hyatt does have a parking garage. I believe it was at $15 a night for those attending the convention. You just get your parking validated at the desk. Now, there is the convention center itself has a parking garage. I don't really know anything about that. I don't know how much they were charging. I don't know if there were in and out privileges. I know at the hotel one, there were in and out privileges. You could go in and out as much as you pleased. There is another parking deck that is for the entertainment district area, but it is also attached to the convention center, so you have access to it. I don't know how much they charged, but that would probably be another option for you. If I remember when I was looking into it, there were in and out privileges there as well, and even if there weren't, it was like $15 a night. So not terrible compared to everything else. But I think the safest one was probably staying at the hotel one. So if your hotel has a parking area or parking garage, I'd probably recommend staying there. Probably be the safest option for you, especially going into a city like that. As far as at the convention itself, registration, get there early. Get there as early as possible. We were there fairly early, and they actually opened up pre-registered attendees an hour early, so we were able to get in pretty quickly there. And honestly, the line moved very smooth. We were in and out of there in maybe an hour, if that. So that was a really nice experience going through the registration line. Everybody calls it line con, you're all standing in line, going behind one another, and it feels like forever, but in all reality, it's really not that bad. At least this year at MFF, it wasn't. And be prepared to spend money. Make sure you got enough money to spend for food, drinks, art, other things. Don't buy a fursuit if you are not prepared to. Don't do it. I'm sorry. They are very expensive. If you have the money, by all means. If you want one, go for it. But do your research. Research all the different makers. Get their business cards if you're interested. Look them up. See what their art looks like. See what they do. See how many suits they've done in the past. And see if that's someone you'd want to go with. Now, there of course are ones that everybody's going to want to go with, and those ones are going to be harder to get into their commission queues and things like that. So keep that in mind as well. Maybe go with a lesser known maker that doesn't get as many folks. As far as traveling to the convention, if it's convenient for you to do so, I probably would recommend driving. It really wasn't that bad of an experience for me, except waiting in Chicago traffic for over an hour. But I drove 8 hours for the convention, which is a little much, but it wasn't too bad, to be honest. But if you aren't able to and you need to fly, as far as flying, make sure you're prepared. Alfie got stuck in the airport, so just be mindful of that. Make sure you've got directions and everything, and you know where to go when you're at the airport. Chicago O'Hare is one of the busiest airports in the nation, if not the world. So keep that in mind if you're traveling to O'Hare in Chicago. I flew in last year, and it really wasn't too bad for me. This isn't going to give away too much information. I went from Pittsburgh to Chicago, and really wasn't that bad at all. Pretty nice flight, fairly quick. It did cost some money, but it was fairly cheap. But it just depends on where you're at in the country, how close you are to Chicago, and the logistics of it if you'd rather drive or fly.
Just warning about the Chicago airport. If you're asking for directions inside the airport, 100% of nobody knows where they're going. I got directions from 6 different people, including hotel staff. Every single one of them sent me in the wrong direction. I had to figure. So many people tried to give me. Nobody was helpful at all. Nobody knew their way around the hotel, the airport.
Also,
I had to figure out how to get out of there by myself.
Another piece of advice that I have for people would to download the app Sked. It's what a lot of the conventions are using to post their schedules, and that's where you'll find information about all the different panels and events going on at the convention. Highly recommend downloading that before the convention, getting to know what time and where things are at. It is fairly helpful. It definitely helped me pick out what events I wanted to go to, and I had a lot more chosen than I actually went to, and that is totally fine. You're probably not going to get to go to everything you want to at the convention, so keep that in mind. It is it is worth the experience. I think a lot of the convention itself is just hanging out with your friends, meeting new people, making new friends, and things of that nature as well. I think that's about all the advice I can give. Alf, do you have anything to add as far as advice goes for specifically MFF or maybe conventions in general? Because I
Uh,
know you've been
if you're
to 3
if you're
conventions
so
now.
if you're socially shy, I would recommend going with friends, uh, or going with people and planning to hang out. If you have social anxiety, and even with events, if you're socially shy or nervous, have hard time with crowds, make sure you like plan stuff out and be like, hey, I'm gonna go with these friends, I'm gonna hang out with them. Communicate ahead of time. Hey, you're okay if I hang out with you. I'm shy, I have trouble in crowds. Are you okay if I just hang out with you? And if you want to go to a certain event, just say, hey, do you want to go to this event? I'm interested in it. you know we don't have to. We can plan stuff out, or you guys can plan out together what events you're going to. Or you can just do like me and follow your boyfriend around with puppy eyes, wagging your tail the whole time.
All right.
Because I love my boyfriend.
I love
Yeah,
you too, Alf.
my boyfriend's like, thanks. I'm like, yeah, no problem. I showed up to hang out with you.
Um,
Clingy boyfriend. I just wrapped myself around his leg and he drugged me around
I
everywhere, going,
I think
"Alf,
that's
you're
all we
too
have
heavy."
as far as clothing. Man, I wish I could talk right now. Closing
Clothing.
thoughts. I almost said clothing like 3 times. But anyway, clothing.
Now it's clothing thoughts now. Now I want you to end it with clothing thoughts.
Closing thoughts. I think we're done with that. But thank you all for listening to another episode of our podcast. This one was just kind of a break from what we're usually going to do. But we might occasionally do something like this, talk about a topic of interest or something that's going on. But we'll try not to get too controversial or too political or anything like that. We'll talk about things that relate to the furry fandom specifically for the most part. But feel free in the comments to let us know your thoughts about MFF if you were there. If you have any questions about going to a convention or attending one, feel free to put those in the comments as well. I'll try to get back to you if I can, if I have an answer for you. And if not, I'm sure someone else will have an answer for you. But if anybody has any questions or anything about conventions, feel free to drop them in the comments. We'll do our best to answer them for you, or if anybody else is able to, they will. But again, thank you for listening to another episode of A Career Furry, even though this really didn't have anything to do with careers, and that's okay. This podcast might end up going all over the place and off the rails sometimes, and it's not going to come out at a regular basis, at least at the moment, just due to my work and the way it goes, and sometimes just how our moods are and how we feel. But my name's Indigo, Indy, or you can call me B-Man. And then my co-host is Alfie, or Alf. You can call him. I go by B-Man551060 on most socials if you want to find me anywhere. I don't know if Alf wants to drop his social name on here, but
I go by Alfie or Alfie Golden. My persona has the last name because I'm goofy. I love y'all. Stay healthy. Drink your water. And if you don't have water, go get water and drink it. And no soda or caffeine. Drink your water.
all right. Thank you all for listening. We'll talk at you the next time I think about making a podcast episode. And hopefully we'll have a guest with us. Don't know who right now. I have a few that were interested. So we'll see where that goes. But thank you for listening, everybody. Hope you all have a great day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you, whenever you're listening
It's
to
5
this.
o'clock somewhere.
All righty. Bye-bye.